Hello everybody and welcome to a Deck Tech on the Constructive Criticism YouTube channel. I'm Spencer, and today we're going to go over the green-red energy aggro deck, the Pummeler deck, from last season and see what updates it got with Aether Revolt. This deck actually got a lot of updates, all things considered, for a deck that you would think is pretty linear, can't really do much to change it, but it actually changed quite a few cards. So let's get right into this and go over the new main deck of how this deck might look going into the Pro Tour, or the first SCG. We have 4 Bristling Hydras, 4 Electrostatic Pummeler, 2 Greenbelt Rampager, 4 Servant of the Conduit, 4 Voltaic Brawler, 4 Attune with Aether, 4 Blossoming Defense, 4 Harness Lightning, 3 Highspire Infusion, 3 Invigorated Rampage, 3 Rush of Adrenaline, and 1 Uncaged Fury. We have 20 lands in the form of 4 Aether Hub, 2 Cinder Glade, 7 Forest, 4 Game Trail, and 3 Mountain. One of the huge things that I don't have on my list of things that I do want to talk about is just the inclusion of Greenbelt Rampager. One of the things about the last deck is just how bad Long Dust Cub ended up being in it. You would think with the card being like an all-star uncommon and being played in other decks in Standard, that it would have just been an all-star, and the truth is that this deck didn't like Long Dust Cub very much. Greenbelt Rampager kind of fixes that problem. It's only a one-time investment of energy, or it can just let you have early things to do to get energy because you don't really play any one-drops in the deck outside of Attune with Aether. So it just gives you more turn 1 Attune with Aether to style plays, which can be really helpful for you. The other thing that you'll notice here is there's no Larger Than Life. Yeah, Larger Than Life was easily the worst card in the deck, and the deck got 2 new great pump spells. One of them being Invigorated Rampage, and one of them being Highspire Infusion. Invigorated Rampage is easily the better one. Being able to give multiple creatures trample, or just give one creature trample, is really big because you play Bristling Hydra. One of the hardest things in the deck, and the reason the deck later in the format adopted Rush of Adrenaline, is because it wanted to give its Bristling Hydra's trample. So having 6 effects that do that, rather than just the 2 or 3 Rush of Adrenaline that it was playing before, is pretty big. The other thing that you'll notice is that it doesn't pump the defense, which, if you look at Electrostatic Pummeler, it's totally okay, because Electrostatic Pummeler is pumped by its power, not by its power and toughness. So it gets +X for its power, which is pretty big. Those are some of the huge differences in the deck. The other thing that the deck got was something in the sideboard. You see Kari Zev's Expertise. This is red 1. For gain control of target creature or vehicle, untap it, it gains haste until end of turn. You may cast a card from a mana cost 2 or less from your hand. So one of the things that you can do is if there's something in your way, you can steal it. You can still cast your Invigorated Rampage or your Highspire Infusion. And, just usually kill them pretty well on that turn at post-board if you need that card. The other thing that Highspire Infusion and Invigorated Rampage did is it let you cut down on the number of Uncaged Furies. This is another one that was one of the worst cards in the deck. It's even possible that you want 0 of them. But yeah, you just don't have to play as many as you were doing. If you don't have to be as all-in and be this, all-in combo-y deck. And that's pretty big. The best creature in the deck is Bristling Hydra. I think that's no surprise for most people. It's good against mid-range. It's good against aggro as just this thing that gets in their way, and it's good against control. So it's good in basically every matchup. The other best creature in the deck is probably Voltaic Brawler. No surprise, it's obviously pushed, and it gives itself trample, which is a pretty big deal. The best spell, Blossoming Defense. Being able to give your creature protection from them trying to interact with you is a pretty big deal, all while pumping your creature and advancing your game plan at the same time. The other best spell is Attune with Aether. It really lets you cut down the number of lands, and you really want the energy. I don't know why Wizards started making Lay of the Lands great, but they've really done a good job of making Lay of the Land style effects a lot better. Your best matchups are surprisingly probably controlling decks. Oftentimes they think that they're fast enough to deal with what you've got going on, and sometimes they can have all of it. But the thing is that they don't apply enough pressure to you, and you just have enough of it, usually, to get there. Bristling Hydra is really hard to interact with, as well as Blossoming Defenses, and you can play an early Hydra with Servant of the Conduit, or you can sometimes just kill them with Conduit Beatdown, as they don't really want to kill it. And that's a huge deal. Just having threats that they both don't want to deal with, and that advance your game plan with both energy and being able to pump out a faster Hydra, is a pretty big deal. Honestly, the decks that you would worry about with this deck the most are actually Wrath decks, as they get the 2-for-1s on you. That's kind of where you run into the actual problems with the deck. One of your worst matchups, though, is still probably like green-black decks. Their creatures are big enough that they can block you, and they have a lot of removal. This can be a big problem. One of the reasons that Greenbelt Rampager might be good in that is just its high toughness. Most of your creatures are lower on the toughness than they are on the power. And so you're easily blocked, and that can cause a problem. In the sideboard, we have 2 Tireless Trackers, 1 Verdurous Gearhulk, 4 Galvanic Bombardment, 2 Tears of Valakut, 2 Evolving Wilds, 2 Chandra, and those 2 Kari Zev's Expertise. You'll see here that you can transform a little bit with the Tireless Tracker, the Verdurous Gearhulk, the Chandra, and the lands, and the Galvanic Bombardment to be the control deck in matchups where you want to be the control deck and kind of sideboard out some of your combo pieces. This is a pretty big deal, and it really helps you beat decks that you shouldn't be able to beat with a deck like this, kind of transforming a little bit. Zev's Expertise can come in a lot of those matchups as well to let you just be like the big mid-range deck to kind of just punch through damage. Overall, the sideboard's pretty good. A lot of people are playing blue. I don't know that you need to play blue for this. You could obviously play a different land base, play an island in addition to some Evolving Wilds out of the sideboard, and with Attune with Aether and Aether Hub, you could easily splash blue for counter spells post board, which is what a lot of people were doing online before this set came out. That's kind of the updates to this deck and what this deck looks like and what it's trying to do. Feel free to leave a comment and a like. Let us know what you think about these deck techs. This one's a little bit shorter, a little bit faster, just kind of updating you on some of the cards that you might be able to expect coming out of this deck in the future. If you have a list that you like, feel free to leave a comment with that list. Let other people talk about it, and we'd be happy to improve together and be #always improving on the Constructive Criticism family. So thank you everybody for watching, and we'll see you guys all next time.